here's my experiment, trying to use the Pebeo, let's see if I can find it, Pebeo Fantasy Prisme, looks like. This is turquoise, and then I added some, I don't know what color this is, let's see, Blanca, Coquille, eggshell, white. And then I added, I think, a little bit of this antique gold. Now you'll see the very prominent danger. Apparently this is an oil-based product. Well, most oil-based products are okay to use with polymer clay. And I think perhaps what we wouldn't want to do is to put it in the oven while it's still wet. Now this has been spread on this white polymer clay sheet. I think I did it yesterday, so it's been 24 hours, but it's still not completely dry. But you can see the wonderful depth I'm getting in there, and it looks like a lot of texture, but really I'm wiggling the surface so you can see it is perfectly shiny smooth. Now, my previous experiment was with a piece that I had, a piece of the paint, several different colors, that I had spread very thinly on a craft sheet and let dry. Now I have to say, you really have to let this dry, not just 24 hours, but a good 48. So I cannot do anything with that piece that I just made. So then I got the thought, well, yes, it talks about it not being being able to heat it, and I'm thinking while it's wet. So what I did was, I did a little test. I cut this larger sheet. This one's still on unbaked clay that had a previous experiment on it. So I just stuck it down. I didn't, in fact, use anything to stick it down. So I just kind of stuck it down. But on this one here, it was another piece that I cut. I believe that I put a tiny spread of Bacon Bond and then applied this piece, and then baked it. So you can see nothing happened in the oven, and it is a baked piece now. I'm not going to do anything with this, but maybe here's a piece that I did not adhere. Yeah, see, I didn't hear this. I didn't realize this was coming off. Let me see if I can pull the whole thing off. Well, maybe I needed to use more Bacon Bond. Well, so much for that experiment. At least I learned. So this is the piece, and you can see how thin it is. And it was pretty firmly attached before. Now this is the baked piece of polymer clay, but because the polymer clay bends, apparently it made it get unstuck. So I guess the only alternative to use this, now that I'm looking at it carefully, would be to cut it, maybe even bake it so you get the exact, and then actually use another kind of glue, because it looks to me like at least as thin a coat as I put of the Bacon Bond, it doesn't permanently adhere it. Anyway, this is some more by way of experiments, because these are beautiful paints and I'd like to be able to use them in jewelry. This one here, so this experiment is a little bit different. So rather than creating a veneer, I mean a skin where I drop the paint and smear it around on a craft sheet and let dry, which is what these are, and trying to use those with polymer clay. This experiment is where I have actually smeared the paint on a sheet of polymer clay, and now I'm letting it dry. I'm thinking and hoping, maybe, that the bond between the paint and the clay will be better than I just showed you on my sample piece. And then I can cut this into earrings and things that I like to make. So anyway, that's the experiment I'm working on now. I do love these paints. I got them a while back, and they're really expensive, I have to say. But they do things that probably no other paint does. And I'd like to be able to figure out a way to use them with polymer clay besides painting them on already finished pieces, which I guess is I'd like it to be more embedded. And I think somebody did use them. They seem to move around, so if you have a finished piece that's not flat, you would have maybe the paint as it tries to level itself, because you see, you put it on there and it does level itself. It gives this great big shine. As it tries to level itself, it might fall off the item that you're trying to do. And I really would like to have this done not on a baked piece. Integrated if possible. So we'll see how this experiment turns out, but look at the beautiful depth it has. Those wonderful organic shapes in there, and then to be perfectly smooth on the top, and it is perfectly. It looks like texture, but it's not. It's just flat. Okay, so I will do another video later on how this experiment turns out, but I am going to leave this dry perfectly before I try to do anything else with it. That's all for now.